Welcome, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by my co-host, Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Fucking ducky. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Kind of a little special show here today. We're all, rock and roll metal fans, and just recently with the passing of Ace Frehley, I think Kiss has always been kind of like the gateway band to when you started getting out of like the child bands and you started getting to your first real rock and roll band. I think Kiss, for most people that we've spoke to, always mentions Kiss. They mention the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, but the guys who kind of gravitate towards Black Sabbath, the gateway was Kiss. So we wanted to do a little countdown, talk a little bit about our memories with Kiss, and I couldn't think of a better guy to bring in than our guest today. He is a comedian. He's all over the place. He's a commentator. He hosts all these great rock shows. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the show, Mr. Don Jamieson. How are you, Don?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me back, guys. And, if you could afford Eddie Trunk, you would have had him on, but instead you got me.
Listen, instead, I'm thrilled to have you. So it's always great to have Don Jamieson. Don, were you what I said up top about your gateway band, was that your first like real rock and roll band, Kiss?
100%. I mean, I tell the story all the time, and I've been telling it, obviously on podcasts since Ace has passed, because I've done a bunch, but it really is, man. And I think, the reason is for people when you get into Kiss when you're 11, 12 years old. When I first got Destroyer, I'm looking at that album cover. I'm like, they're rock stars, they're superheroes. There you go. They're comic book characters. And when you're 12, there's nothing better than those three things. So I think that's why a lot of our generation gravitated to them because they were larger than life.
What was the first concert you went to?
First rock show?
Yeah.
Did
you go to a disco show first?
No, I think I saw the Monkees at Great Adventure in Jersey.
That's
technically my first show.
Because I remember the first two concerts I ever went to. First one was the same show that Eddie Trunk went to. December 16th, I believe was 1978 or 79. I'm not 100% sure of the year. Kiss touring on a Live 2. I remember going to that. And the second show I ever went to was Black Sabbath. And now two of the most important members wanted to pass in the same year, Ace and Ozzy. How about you, Sean? Did you ever see Kiss?
I saw them once. I think when they did that tour with Aerosmith.
Oh yeah.
At PNC.
That's a great spot to see.
Yeah, that was the only real time I ever saw Kiss. And the thing with me and Kiss is, again, and I make jokes about this, but I am a little younger, so I didn't see the whole makeup phase when they came out. I'm an MTV boy, so I only know them without the makeup. So my first memories of them are kind of like the Tears Are Falling, God Gave Rock and Roll to You, Part 2, like that kind of shit. And then obviously I got into them a little more and then went backwards. But for me, my gateway was Ozzy. So it wasn't like I wasn't given the first Kiss record. I was given Blizzard of Oz. That was my first thing. So I had to go backwards a lot with a lot of these bands. Like the older 70s bands I had to go backwards with.
I was an absolute Kiss freak. Loved them. Posters. I remember, I don't know if you guys ever, it's a horrible movie, but I remember, I think it was Channel 7, ABC was playing, I think on a Saturday night, Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
So bad.
Oh, but I had to go see it. I had to come home and watch it. And I remember, I think I was at an Islanders game. They had an afternoon game. And I was telling my uncle, you got to get us home fast. I can't miss this. I can't go out to dinner. I have to see Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. And then you go back. It's like brutal. But still, man. And I don't know, man. It was like, you were right. It was comic books. It was the makeup. It was also like growing up, you would listen to like pop music. But Kiss seemed like nothing like you ever heard before, And I went back as like Dressed to Kill, Alive 1 was the album that really did it for me. And it was just like, and it wasn't even rock and roll all night. It was some of the songs that we'll talk about today that's on my list. We're gonna attempt to do a top 5 Kiss list. But even those early songs, man, was just so great. And that was also a time where, like now, a band comes out with a new album like every 3-4 years. Bands were putting out like 2 albums a year. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, Kiss did that, and yeah, no, and going back to what you said about Kiss Meets the Phantom, like I was like you, I was fanatical Kiss fan. There was nothing that they could do to upset me in any way except for that movie, because yeah, you had to race home to see it. You had to make sure you're in front of the TV. You had to make sure your parents were going to let you watch it. And then it was a steaming pile of turds. Even at 12 years old, I was like, what is this? What are they doing? Why is Ace black all of a sudden? You know, it was wild.
Do you remember back in the day, they used to have like holiday specials, and Paul Lynde had a Halloween special, and he had Kiss on. Oh man! And like at the time, I didn't know that Paul was gay. I didn't know anything, but all I knew was that he was kind of mocking Kiss a little bit. And I remember, during his like little Q&A with them, I remember being pissed off because I was like a Paul Lynde fan, but I think I was a bigger Kiss fan, and I was like, come on, you're making fun of Kiss, Paul Lynde. Am I the only one who saw that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember it as vividly as you do, but he used to do. He had Alice Cooper. He had Alice Cooper on and stuff. So I think he kind of got the campiness of it. But yeah, I mean, when you're young, I didn't know he was gay either. I was just like, I don't know why I'm jerking off, but it was only 2 years later I realized my physical attraction to Paul Lynde.
Yeah, and he turned out to be a raging anti-Semitic.
Really?
Oh yeah,
he fit in perfectly in 2025.
Perfect, big.
Can I just address that? All of a sudden I'm starting to realize that Don looks like Chris Jericho's fucking stand-in.
He looks nothing like Chris Jericho.
Well, I have glaucoma. I do have glaucoma, which is legit, but it's just
glaucoma. You're fucking blind. Are you out of your mind?
I'm blind too, but I have glaucoma.
It's on my resume. Chris Jericho stand-in if you have glaucoma.
I don't know. I see it.
I'll take the gig.
But anyway, let's attempt to do this. Let's go around. Let's get, go from 5 up to number 1. What would you say is your number 5 Kiss song? And we'll start with a guess. We'll start with Don.
Well, here's the only song that's not an Ace song, although he is on the front cover of the album, and it's the title track to the album Creatures of the Night.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of my favorite Kiss albums, actually. It's easily in my top 5. So, there's a couple songs in there I could have picked from, but I think, just out of the gate with that song, super great. I didn't know, again, at the time, I didn't know Ace was already kicked out of the band. He was long gone. Then they had another cover for it that had Bruce Kulick on it. He didn't play on the album. So, it was just that time, because nowadays people leave bands all the time. They come back, they retire, they come back out of retire. Like it's the Wild West now. Nobody had side bands or anything. This was the first time, like my favorite band. Oh my God, they lost a member. And, obviously the band knew that, like that was going to be bad for business if Ace's face wasn't on the cover. So, I just love that song, man. And I think the guy who plays the solo, it was the guy from, believe it or not, from, what's that? Not Aha, but another one. I'll have to look it up while you guys are doing yours. But it's somebody you would never imagine, like Cutting Crew or...
Not Kaija Gugu, because Nick Biggs played on a lot of people's records, but he plays bass. Yeah, look that up. Also, you're dropped automatically if anyone picks a World Without Heroes as their favorite Kiss song.
Agreed.
I mean,
Steve Barris.
the song is disgusting, but the video, I think I texted that to you a couple of weeks ago. I was watching the video. It just came up. I was like, oh, this is off the charts horrible. It's so hard to watch. It's cringe. Sean, what would you say is your number 5 Kiss song?
So I have to go and be different because it is half my show and I have half say of what I get to say on the show. I didn't pick an Ace song as number 5. The only reason I didn't was because this is my favorite Kiss song and I had to put it on the list no matter what. And I went with Unholy.
Oh,
For
wow.
Revenge. Yeah, it's really it was again one of those songs that I was kind of introduced to Kiss with. And then that is a fucking killer record. I absolutely love that record. It's, I mean, one of the few Kiss records I can actually play from front to back because, again, this is what I was kind of introduced to. But, yeah, for me, I got to go with Unholy. I think it brought a heavier sound with that record, too. It was a little more influenced by what the times were going.
Yep.
As far as musically. So that's my number 5.
So Steve Farris, who played the solo in Creatures of the Night, was in the band Mr. Mister.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you're right. That is a band like Cutting Crew. Holy
I didn't know he
shit.
could shred, but that's a real good solo on there.
And that's a crazy reference right there.
Yeah.
I got to be in full candor. None of the songs on my list are going to go even into the 80s. Everything is 70s Kiss. And so my number 5 it's kind of commercial, but I love it. I mean, Calling Dr. Love, 76 off of Rock and Roll Over. They got that title from a Three Stooges movie called Men in Black, believe it or not. And it was a famous line of calling Mr. Howard, calling Dr. Fine, calling Dr. Howard. That inspired Gene to write the song. But I also think it is, all these songs I'm picking just have these excellent Ace solos. And that's a great solo in Calling Dr. Love. And also lots of cowbell in that song. So,
yeah, and for me, the live version on Alive 2, that's with Kiss, like especially in those early albums, the live versions are to me the definitive versions.
I love the Kiss a lot. I don't care if they went back in the studio and re-recorded some of the leads and changed some stuff up. It doesn't make a difference to me. I love Alive 1. I love Alive 2. Alive 2 is really got to be one of my all-time favorite albums. I love that they couldn't even come up with 4 full sides of Live. Come up with in one side of new songs. But you had a good Ace song on that, right?
Shock Me.
Yeah, Shock Me was on
his
that.
vocal debut. And yeah, I think the myth or the it's not an urban legend. I think it's been proven, but they used a Super Bowl crowd to enhance the audience on Kiss Alive too.
All right, so
I didn't know that.
Now, I know you guys are big fantasy football fans, so we'll do this kind of like a snake draft. That's what we do in fantasy football. We do a snake draft. So whoever went first, goes left in the second round. So I'll start off the round 2, and my number 4 song from '74. I mean, this song is still in their sets. It's a song about New York City, Black Diamond. What a
Great
fucking song. Yeah, it's about hookers out in the street. It starts off with nice little Paul singing at the beginning. Great Ace riff in that song. And the undertone is, I don't know. I love it. It kind of, to me, out of all the Kiss songs, and it led me to my next favorite band was Black Sabbath. I thought Black Diamond could sound like an early Black Sabbath song. I don't know if anyone else sees that.
No. Least bit.
No?
No.
But also, I like Peter Criss's vocals. And Paul starts off singing, and Peter sings this. And then if you ever seen Kiss live, this was where at the end it just kind of went off, and with the rises and with the fire bombs. I mean, my God, man, that was such great memories, and it was so good. And they still even do it now, and it's still great. So Black Diamond for me is my number 4 song. What do you say?
Yeah, it was a classic show closer for a long time.
It was right before the encores, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Good, Sean. What do you think?
I go back to am I giving my number 4 pick?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going back to the first album. I think my next two songs go to the first Kiss album. And I just go by, as a guitar player, I go by riffs too. And for me, I absolutely had to put Deuce on my, at number 4. It's just a bad fucking song. And that's one of those ones that goes on a driving mix. It goes a gym mix. It could fit anywhere. Like most of the songs on the first record, to be honest. But yeah, I just love that fucking main riff in that song. One of the first ones I ever learned how to play.
Agreed.
You like that better than the Love theme from Kiss?
Yeah, slightly. It depends on my mood. It depends if it's a heavy flow month too.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes you need a kinder, gentler Kiss track.
Right.
Those things don't kind of go hand in hand. A gentler Kiss, that never worked for me. Although I did like Hard Luck Woman. Again, that's another piece.
That's a great song, but I gotta tell you, I mean, you've obviously got the "Kiss My Ass" tribute record.
Yeah, I know you're gonna go with Garth Brooks here.
Garth's version is a really solid version of that.
Yeah, because he's a legit Kiss fan, so
yeah.
he did a great job with
that song too.
What's that?
You actually heard that he was a Kiss fan when you heard him singing. It wasn't like one of those people who just got signed up to do a tribute record. You knew he wanted to be there, and that's definitely the best song for him to have pulled off too.
Agreed. Hey, well, it has a country feel to it, and I think he kind of wrote it in a country, with that in mind. Don Jamieson for 2, your number 4 and your number 3 picks.
Yeah. Here's a useless piece of information about Hard Luck Woman, which is on Kiss Alive too, but it was never played live in concert. That's recorded at Soundcheck, and they just threw some audience behind it. So there you go.
How come you think they never put that in the set? That's a great song.
They might have done it afterwards. I mean, I'm sure we could do a little research on that, but they hadn't up to that point. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like, Cheap Trick never played I Want You to Want Me. That was a throwaway song forever. And then they went to Japan, and the promoter said, oh, that song's like a hit here on the radio. And they were like, oh, my God, now we got to play that. They had to relearn it, and they were like, we got to rock it out a little bit more if we're going to play it live. And that song's given them a 50-year career.
Much like rock and roll, rock and roll night, party every day, and I Want You to Want Me. The studio versions are nothing like the live versions. The live versions are a million times better.
Yep. All right, my number 4. Now you said you thought that your number 4 pick sounded very Sabbathy, but I think mine definitely had some Sabbath influence. Number 4, Watching You.
Oh, wow, you're going deep tracks now.
That heavy, dark riff. And again, the definitive version is the one on Kiss Alive, the extended version with the extra solo in it and all that stuff. That's just that was the difference between Kiss Alive 1 and 2. Kiss Alive was a dark album, man. It really was. Whereas Kiss Alive 2 was a little more, rock and roll all night, party every day, shout it out loud, let's have a party. But Kiss Alive 1 was, it had some dark riffs on there. And I just always loved that one, man. Had to get a good Gene one in there. And that's also super heavy for Kiss, especially at the time.
So and since this is a snake draft, you go back to back. So what was your number 3? Song?
Yeah, well, I just mentioned it. The song that I guess is I guess it was a hit. I guess it was considered a hit. They've probably played at every concert since Destroyer came out, but for whatever reason, unlike Rock and Roll All Night, Shout It Out Loud, I never get sick of, and it's still a great anthem and a sing along, and I never skip past it, when it plays, and I just love that. I love that song, man. That's to me the even better closing song than Rock and Roll All Night, although it didn't become the anthem that Rock and Roll All Night did with the fans.
Yeah, I like Shout It Out Loud too. That
The
song
dual guitar.
never gets boring. Exactly. I I had it on my list, and again, you had to cut something, and that was one of the songs I cut. Like I said, very very hard. What would you say, Sean? What's your number three?
I think I'm going to surprise you with this one.
Is it going to be Beth?
No, it's not Beth. That's atrocious.
Depending on his flow.
Depending on my well, if I need wings that month, you know what I mean, the super absorbance.
Yeah.
Again, I look at Kiss as a guitar band, as a guitar player. So I went with track 1 off of Love Gun with "I Stole Your Love."
Oh, that's a great song.
I that intro riff I think is the best. I think is the best intro riff of any Kiss song.
I still,
It's up there.
yeah,
It's
I
so
still never
goddamn
get
good.
bored
I
of
think
that
it's, I
song.
think it's such an underrated song because Love Gun just takes over that record because it was so popular. But this is this is my diamond. This is my deep track. If I on
That's
my
not
list,
deep track.
sure.
That's a. In fact, I had. If you look at my list here, I have it circled, and that was one that I just did not make my cut because you only could pick 5. Oh, but that's a fantastic song.
Yeah, I took off Rock and Roll All Night because again, it's not. I think I've said this on the show before. That song doesn't belong to Kiss anymore. Just like Stairway to Heaven doesn't belong, Paranoid doesn't belong to Sabbath. Like these songs that have just transcended these artists, they just belong to the universe now. That's not they're not their songs anymore. It Smells Like Teen Spirit isn't a Nirvana song, all that shit. So I take that off the list, and that's where I put "I Stole Your Love" in its place.
Great pick. That's a great pick.
If I was doing, hey, if I was doing a list of the best riffs, absolutely would have been in the top 5 with that one. Along with, I love the riff from Mr. Speed. That's a really
that one.
cool. Yeah, he plays it up high on the neck, but it's a pretty difficult riff. Paul plays it, but that's a really really good riff. That one too, and then the other one that I love. Is the riff for Strutter too, man, is good, really
that's
good.
that's on here. Though. I'm going to talk about that, but
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say for my number 3 is what Sean said earlier. I liked Deuce as well because for me it kind of sounds like Ace is signaling his Jimmy Page. Now remember that's 74. Okay, so that's right in the Zeppelin wheelhouse as well. I kind of felt he was influenced by that, but I had a backup in case someone picks something similar to mine. So instead of Deuce, I'll just substitute Love Gun. I love the title track. That is always in the Kiss set list. Paul wrote it, but Ace's lead at the end brings that song home. So, I mean, to me, it's still a great, great song. And then if you ever saw the movie Role Models, this, it revolves around some Kiss and some Kiss songs, and that song is in it, and it still closes the movie really good. You ever see that movie?
You nailed it, dude. That solo at the end is one of my favorite Ace solos of all time. The song wouldn't, again, if we were saying Ace solos, Love Gun would have made my top 5, but yeah, I love, again, especially that live version, man. There's so much energy going in. I love that scale that he does, man. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah, it's kind of the song. If you're going to like play air guitar, that's a Kiss song you would do air guitar to.
Right.
And also that I mean, it's really a solid banger still. It got AM FM airplay back in the day. But it doesn't have to be a deep track, but it's still a great, great song. And never lost it from me, much like I Stole Your Love. My number. So
Hey, Jeff, one quick thing I wanted to just jump in about Love Gun. The other part of that is that you meant that the drum thing at the end. You know how many bands do that at the end of their shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like at their last song, they hit the last chord, bang, crowd goes nuts.
It's great.
I've seen at least 20 bands do that.
Oh, for sure.
It seemed like every 80s like metal band ended a show like that or had a song like it in their set. I remember seeing Twisted Sister and Rat, and they all had something like that. Did you ever see Twisted Sister and Rat together? Did you remember that tour back in the mid 80s? I saw it at the Pier. It was a great show.
You'll see Twisted back on tour next year.
I'm gonna go. There's a lot of good shows I want to see. I want to see your favorite Rush, and we got to go see Maiden with Megadeth. And
we're definitely going to see Maiden. But listen, if you gave me $1,000 and paid for my ticket and all my food, and I don't drink, but I would drink that night, and you'd pay for my tab, I still wouldn't go see Rush.
Oh, come on, you gotta go see Rush.
You got more fucking chance of me playing fantasy football than you getting me at a Rush concert.
How do you take such a hard stance against Rush?
I told you my story about how much I hate them and why I hate them, because I'm Italian and I hold a grudge.
What's the grudge? What did Geddy Lee ever do to you?
In high school at a friggin' talent night, it was the first time we had a band. I had my songs ready to go. I did Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly, Cats in the Cradle by Ugly Kid Joe, Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young, Panama by Van Halen, and then my fucking friend wanted to do Spirit of the Radio, which is the hardest goddamn song in the world to play, learn how to play that shit, and then the fuck got stage fright and wouldn't go up there and sing it. So I learned the goddamn thing, and I hate Rush since then.
That's Rush's fault.
That's Rush's fault. Yes, it was Rush's fault because they wrote such a great song that was hard for this kid to sing, and he pussied out. Yes, that's why I fucking.
You are a moron. How can you say? Oh, you don't like so. Even that.
I hate everything about that.
21. There has to be even though singing. If I just put on 2112 and I put on the overture, that would do nothing for you.
I'd rather listen to a Jonas Brothers song.
This was 40 years ago, Sean. It's time to let it go.
First of all, fuckhead, it wasn't 40. It was like 30, okay? I'm not you fucking people, okay?
Fair enough. But I will say this. I'm not the hugest Rush fan. I mean, I like tons of their songs. I don't know about this whole thing with the
money grab.
Drummer. Come on,
it's a money grab. It's a money. Look. I understand how good they are. I understand how talented they are. It's this hatred I have for Tool too. They're just too goddamn good. Like when you're a musician, I love Tool. No, I've seen Tool. I love them. I absolutely love them. But like when you go to a Tool concert, right? You don't see people losing their minds. You know what you see? You see 14 chicks staring at their phone and 19,000 dudes just staring at the stage in awe. It's the worst concert in the world to go to. It's all fucking nerd guitar playing dudes staring at the goddamn stage. It's terrible.
They were so good at Back to the Beginning.
They're a great band, but like I'll take them over Rush any day of the week. But like I know the hits, like Tom Sawyer and all that stupid shit. But like, not a fan, man. Never was.
Since I got done here, I texted you and said, hey. Any interest in 9 Inch Nails? And you were like an emphatic no. What do you have against 9 Inch Nails?
They're horrendous.
I actually bought tickets for that.
Why are they horrendous?
Awful.
Were you in a band and you had to learn how to sing a 9 Inch Nails song and you couldn't figure out how to do Wish?
Yes, it was 40 years ago this week, and the guy couldn't. His keyboard broke, and we couldn't play it. So, I just, he has. There's definitely some heavy songs in the catalog. One of my friends, his wedding song was "Head Like a Hole," so that was pretty cool. But other than that, it's sort of like, If I want to be depressed and want to put a gun to my head, I'll watch the Jets on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, anyway, my second, we're still on the list here. My second Kiss song, and you can't leave it off, is Detroit Rock City. And, it opens up Alive 2, 76. Paul and Bob Ezrin, I believe, wrote the song. I think Bob Ezrin was the producer who also I think really arranged Beth, put the strings in it. Doesn't really get much notice, or I don't even know if he even got a songwriting credit on Andy's song, but he did. He did write two of their biggest hits. Great opener. Again, known. That song is known for the dual guitar solos between Paul and Ace. Okay, and the crazy thing about it, I mean, it's a great song. Never charted in the United States.
Kind of a long song too. I mean, for radio back then, maybe, but
yeah, it's like a 5-minute plus song. But it's really cool. Supposedly, it's based on a true story.
Did you watch the movie?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. Oh, it looked dumb.
It was dumb.
Yeah, no need for that. I actually, Jeff, also picked Detroit Rock City at number 2.
And why do you like it?
Anything to you? I think it's just their best song, personally. When you hear my number 1 song, you might hate me a little bit, but
more than I do now, because your logic for not liking Rush makes no sense.
And the fact that we just said it's their best song, but it's still at number 2. So how does that work?
Because listen, you'll understand my reasoning afterwards. But no, I think it's a great song. I actually had it at number 1, to be honest. I really did. I'm just trying to make Jeff feel good. But yeah, I shifted my 1 and 2 because honestly, I can go either way with these two picks. So
Sean,
Detroit Rock City again. It's that intro riff. It's so simple. It's 2 notes.
I want Don to get to know you a little bit better. I don't know if you've ever told him this story. Sean, tell Don Jamieson the story how you went to a concert at Madison Square Garden and somehow schemed yourself into better seats.
First off, Jeff, it was at MetLife Stadium, number 1.
The venue doesn't matter.
It does matter because for the circumstances. So a friend of mine was a DJ at WDHA for a very long time. And hooked us up with some free Metallica tickets. It was the Metallica Avenged Volbeat tour a few years ago.
Yep.
So he gave me 4 tickets, brought our comedy friend Joe Fernandez with me, and 2 of my other friends. We sit up top. We're like 6 rows from the top. Girls got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, all right, we'll walk them down. We'll be gentlemen. I might be a little under the influence at this point. So I say, holy shit, this is fucking high. As soon as we get down to the bottom of our ramp, there's guest services. I walked over to guest services and I said, hey, can we get better seats? And she goes, what's the matter? I go, well, it's my friend's birthday. And I'm kind of like a big comedian around here. And, it's really shitty seats and it's her birthday. And she pulled the license out and she goes, here you go. And the girl goes, can you give me some tickets to a show? I said, you got it. He handed me 4 tickets, 14th row on the fucking side by the pyro on the floor.
And when did you give it? Tickets to your show at Tommy's Tavern?
Bananas, actually. Bananas. It was closer to Bananas.
At Tap House 15?
I hooked her up. Yeah, I hooked her. She didn't have to pay the fucking 2-drink that night.
She had to drive out to the Silver Lake Tavern.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I did it twice, though, Jeff. You know that, right?
What?
I did that thing twice.
I
pulled that card twice. Once in the city at the John Lennon 75th birthday party. It was the one they put on CBS, and it was an amazing show. But I went over, and I was like, hey, you have any seats that are a little closer? I see a whole bunch in the bottom. And she asked, she goes, do I know you from somewhere? I said, you might, but I can't really tell you right now. And she goes, how many do you need? I said 3. And she moved me down to like 15 rows from the fucking stage.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal.
Listen, I don't want to brag.
Hey, listen, it works. I would have never thought of that. I think of every other sneaky way, but just going up to hospitality and just saying, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
That's it. That's all you got to do. You believe it. If you put it out there, Don, the universe believes it back at you.
It used to be easier back in the day when there was no cell phones. And when me and my friends were like in our 20s, like we all look good, we were all in shape and everything. And we were taking one of our friends out because he was getting married. It wasn't the bachelor party, but it was like the 4 of us are like best friends. So we were going out. We rented a limousine and we were going to a couple of clubs in the city. So do you remember there was a club called Red Zone? Don, did that ring a bell to you? Sure, it may be a little bit before your time. There were a couple. There was a club called Mars, and there was a club called Red Zone, and these were like the big clubs in Manhattan. So we wound up going to Red Zone, and before we got out of the car, I asked the limo driver. I said, "Go to the doorman and tell him you got 4 hockey players here from the Boston Bruins, and see what they do." So he goes up. He goes, "Guys, you're in." And I figured that's all we have, right? I go to pay admission. The guy comes running over. No. Come with us. I'm like, maybe we're getting busted here. They bring us upstairs to the VIP. We don't pay. Thank you very much. We introduce ourselves. Now, before we went in, I told my friends, I was like, this is who we are. Okay. And I knew hockey like the back of my hand. My friend Snapper, he went to law school in Boston, so he knew Boston like the back of his hand. All right. Keep that in mind. So we go to pay for the first round of drinks. Guy comes running over. He's the son of the owner of the club. He's like, no, their money is no good here. And he throws down chips. And now we're drinking all night like we're fucking going to the electric chair the next day. Okay. And we are drinking on the house. And, we are getting the VIP treatment. So the end of the night comes and we're going to leave. And the guy's name was Little Carm. He goes, my dad would like to meet you guys. And I figured now we're definitely getting busted. So we go behind this velvet road, and there's these hot chicks and Big Carmine and some other people. And we sit down and we start talking. We introduce ourselves as hockey players. Okay. And I kind of got the feeling that one of the guys was catching on to us a little bit, but he made the mistake of asking Snapper about Boston. And he was calling him out on the things that he was saying wrong. So now they buy into us hook, line, and sinker. They invite us back the next night. They give this guy a credit card, tell us to take us out. Now we got to get this limousine back. So the guy jumps in the car with us, the guy who's supposed to take us out to some after hours. We threw him out of the limousine, and we never went back to this place. But back in the day, you were able to get away with that. Now, everyone has a cell phone. We'll get nailed in a second.
Yeah,
exactly.
Don's just like, I just hosted a TV show for 27 seasons. I can just go wherever the fuck I want and not lie about it.
No, that doesn't work either. Who were you, Jeffrey?
I believe I was Reggie Lemelin, the goalie.
I was hoping you weren't going to say some like ridiculous like fucking Russian name with like 6 Ks in it. You would have stuttered all over the fucking place.
No, I think it was like Ray Bork. I think because my friend Steve looked like Ray Bork. It was like names you would have known, but you couldn't picture the face. You would know the name, the Boston Bruins, but you wouldn't know who they were.
See, and knowing you, I know how much of a dipshit you are and how much you would have caved under pressure. I'm surprised you didn't say we play for the fucking Knicks.
Why would I say? What the town?
I can see you fucking
say we play for the Knicks.
You might fall into questioning, Jeffrey.
Who is this guy? His snapper. I mean, Ray Bork.
No, and the thing is, my friends were good. Like guys would come up and ask him questions, and my friend could just like look right through you and go, "Listen, I don't take my business outside with me." And I remember my friend Steve kept asking me, "Do hockey players really drink like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, they do."
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do.
That part you got right for sure.
Yeah. So we played.
You got to see us on the road, man. When you're going up to Ottawa, there ain't nothing up there except bars, man.
When you're on the bus and you're playing some pond hockey, right? All there is to do is drink and fuck. All right, Don. What is your number 2 and number 1 Kiss songs?
All right. Well, when I say my number 2, you'll already know what my number 1 is, because my number 2 is the song that comes after my number 1, and that's King of the Nighttime World.
You're my nighttime queen. Yeah.
And just that 1-2 punch, Detroit Rock City being my number 1 song, the way, being a kid and putting that on and just exploding my mind out completely. Like, how could I ever live without this again? It was like, I don't do drugs, but I imagine that's just like taking a hit of something really powerful. And then just how it rings out at the end and then goes right into King of the Nighttime World. So, I mean, those 2 songs back to back completely changed my life, man. Detroit Rock City, obviously being the quintessential show opener. Even though they did open shows at King of the Nighttime World occasionally, they would occasionally open shows with Love Gun, but Detroit Rock City, greatest opener, like you said, the dual guitar in there, the heavy drumming, and again, a touch of that darkness that I mentioned about Kiss Alive 1, man. That's a dark song about a guy, a guy going to a concert and he's drinking and driving and doing drugs, and then he gets into a head-on collision. I mean, I don't know why that didn't strike me as like weird at the time, but it just didn't. To me, it was just like, yeah, party song. What?
Because the song was so good.
Yeah, and we didn't think about drinking and driving back then. Like, I just figured everybody did because my dad did.
So what band?
If you heard the extended version, you found out that the guy in there was actually a Boston Bruin too.
So if Kiss was like me, you was your first like big boy band. What bands did that lead you to? Like who came next for you?
Next was Aerosmith.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my cousin was really into Aerosmith, and they were sort of the first band that I listened to outside of Kiss, where it was like, yeah, they don't wear costumes or makeup or anything, but they were larger than life in their own way, So I got onto that, and then shortly after that, I went straight into metal with Maiden and Priest.
What was the first Aerosmith song you heard?
Something off of Toys in the Attic. I remember that was the first record I heard. So, but the first song, probably the title track, I would guess.
I loved Aerosmith, but you know what? It's not like one of the popular ones, but I really like Night in the Ruts with Jimmy Crespo.
Great. Yep. No, Joe Perry's still on that one.
Are you sure? Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. What did Crespo do? He came after that.
Yeah, the Rockin' a Hard Place.
That's it, Rockin' a Hard Place. It was right. It was the album after Night in the Ruts, right?
Yeah.
And it was it Night in the Ruts? Lightning Strikes.
Yeah. No, that was Rock.
That's a great song. Yeah. It's a song I never thought got enough airplay for Aerosmith.
They were a duet with Youngblood that they just put out.
That's your favorite?
No, I'm saying, what'd you think of it?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Don's not a big Youngblood fan, you can tell.
Well, you're hearing the rumor is that they're going to take him on tour next year. I've read it a couple of different places how they're going to take him on tour and he's going to do a couple songs, and then Steven will come out and do a couple. They'll do a few together to try and preserve his voice a little bit. I don't know. I think it's a slippery slope. I think you're going to label this kid as like the fucking savior of rock and roll when he's got a 24-inch waist. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that's. I don't think he's the fucking second coming of Christ or anything, but the kid's good. But they're going to throw him into first it's Black Sabbath, and then it's fucking Aerosmith, and then he's going to be fucking singing for Zeppelin soon, He's no Greta Van Fleet. Gross.
Who's your number one song, Sean?
Well, I mean, clearly it's Forever.
Come on.
You can't be serious. Please. I thought we were just going to have to throw you off the
I do like the song. But
my hand was on the log off button.
I went with Cold Gin as my number one
choice.
Again, like I said, I could have flip-flopped Detroit Rock City and Cold Gin. I went with number two. Had I known Don was going number one with Detroit, I would have abandoned you. I went with Don, but again, just a killer fucking riff, and it's a slower song too. It's more. And then I always loved when Pantera would cover it too. I love when I would see Dime sing that song. I thought it was that made my every fucking show I ever saw them do that. But yeah, I mean, I have a soft spot in my heart for Cold Gin. Plus, I like gin.
It's a solid pick.
Yeah.
And the song that you had mentioned earlier, for me, my number one is the opening track off of the very first Kiss album is Strutter. I think Ace is amazing throughout that track. And the song still, to me, doesn't sound dated. I still think it's a great song.
It is a very good song. Again, Kiss is a tough band to pick five. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of bands you can narrow down to five. But Kiss is definitely, I mean, even if we did a top 10, it would be really hard to put the top 10 in there. Forever would be in the top 10. I will tell you that right now.
It would not. It couldn't possibly.
It would absolutely be in the top 10.
Don, would it be in your top 10?
No, nowhere close. And I like the song. It's just it's barely a Kiss song. Number one, I mean that's Desmond Child, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Written all over it. Again, I actually do like the song, but no, it would be nowhere near it. We could have easily just done top 5 Ace, which we kind of really did. Songs you could do top 5 70s. You could have done top 5 80s with Kiss. I mean, they have so many tunes. But for me, like 3 of my 5 were from Destroyer, and for good reason, because again, that was my gateway album, and without that, I would have never gone off into the directions I did, because all the records my parents had in the house were like the Bee Gees, and that was the heaviest. Like that was their Metallica. Everything else was Paul Anka, Andy Williams. Stuff, Crystal Gale, stuff like that.
God.
So I don't know how I got even to Kiss originally, but I did, thank God.
You probably listened to like WPLJ back in the day, and they would play like rock and roll all night. And I remember a girl on my block, this girl Linda Maresca, said, "You got to listen to this," and she brought out Kiss Dressed to Kill. And I remember that was it. Once I saw the album cover, I loved it. There were a couple of songs that we did leave off that I thought was really good. I loved Sean's pick of "I Stole Your Love." I still love it. Every now and then when it comes on Sirius XM, I crank it. Shock Me, Don, you mentioned that. That is a great one. And Parasite is another one that has an amazing
great song.
riff. Yeah,
great song for sure.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, Don, did you ever get a chance to meet him? I know you meet a lot of these guys. You work with them. Any stories that you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton actually, because I got to know Ace fairly well through Eddie Trunk, and he did that metal show a couple times. That's one of my favorite, not only one of my favorite memories of Ace, but one of my favorite episodes of the show was when Ace came on and we were talking to him about inventing the smoking guitar, which he's famous for. He goes, "As a matter of fact, I actually have a new invention that I want to debut on your show." Now, our producer did not tell us this was coming, so the three of us had no idea. He goes, "First the electric smoking guitar, and then the smoking flute." And he takes out this little wood flute and he starts playing it, and smoke starts coming out of the end. And if you watch that episode, man, the three of us just double over laughing our ass off, because it was just so Ace. And he always prepared something funny when he came on the show to do. He loved humor. He could have been a comic in his own right at some point. But yeah, I love the smoking flute. I think Eddie still has the flute at home.
What was he kind of like off TV? Because he always seemed to be like the most approachable, the most grounded of the guy. I mean, Gene, I think I like Gene. I think Gene is really smart. I think anything you read, if you came into contact with him, he seemed like he was a really good guy. Paul seemed like, if I read his book, he seems like he had his kind of issues, insecurity issues. I think Peter was a little older than them, but Ace seemed to be the one that I think everyone kind of could identify with. What was he like off of out of makeup, just like behind after the cameras are shut off?
I think he was, he's always the same. He's always Ace. Again, it's just always, he loved laughing. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain with Ace. So again, I had been backstage with Ace. My friends from Nashville all play in his solo band. So, I've spent a lot of time with him. And when Eddie Trunk was doing his 40th anniversary and radio party in Vegas last year, I went, and the night before we had dinner together at this restaurant. Me and Eddie and Ace was there, and I think it was David Ellefson from Megadeth, and a bunch of people are at a table, and we're all hanging out, talking and laughing and telling stories. And about 15 minutes into the dinner, Ace looks across the table at me. He goes, "Who are you again?" He goes, I know you, but I go, nah, and look, we know Ace has a lot of party years under his belt, so I don't take that personally. And I go, yeah, I did. I'm Don Jamieson. I did that metal show with Eddie, and you did my podcast a few times. My friends are in your band. He goes, oh, the comedian. Yeah. I'm sorry. I go, no problem, Ace. So we get to the end of the dinner, and he tells his girlfriend to call an Uber because he wants to go back to the hotel. And she goes, Ace, 15 minutes. He doesn't flinch. He just turns to me and he goes, you and me, joke off. And here I am, back to 12 years old, holding Kiss Destroyer in my hand for the first time, because I could have never thought 40-something years later that I'd be standing in the middle of a restaurant in Las Vegas trading street jokes back and forth.
You did it right then and there?
Yes, right in the middle of the restaurant.
Oh, sure.
And he's kicking my ass because Ace knows a million street jokes, and I'm trying to hold my own, but he's crushing me. And then his girlfriend's like, hey, Ace, the Uber's here. And he goes, I gotta go. And I go, wait, one more, Ace, one more. I want to hit him with one last knockout punch. And it's a joke that I sometimes do in my act where I go, Gene Simmons dated Cher back in the 70s. But what a lot of people don't know is that she wrote that song, If I Could Turn Back Time, about dating Gene Simmons. But the original title was, If I Could Turn Back Time, I Would Have Fucked Ace Frehley instead. I'm waiting for that big Ace laugh, nothing.
Oh,
he just looks at me with all the rock star cockiness in the world and goes, of course she would have, and walks out of the restaurant. It was the perfect ending to the story, man.
And that's a perfect way to end this podcast, man. That is a great I never heard that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Love Ace, and everything he's done over the years. Just he was always one of my favorite, him and Paul. But then very quickly, probably within the first 5 years of liking Kiss, Ace became my number one guy, and he stayed that way till the end. So love you, Ace.
I mean, unfortunately, we had Jim on to talk about Back to the Beginning. It turned out to be, a tribute, I think, to Ozzy. And now we have you on, and we have to do a tribute to Ace. So hopefully, the next time we do these shows, it's on better notes. Anything you're promoting, anything you got going on where people can go see you, stuff, projects you're working on?
When is this airing?
With our producer in 27.
The 27th?
No, in 2027.
Oh, in 2027.
And we're going to turn this one around, right?
Yeah. This will be up next week.
Okay, so next week.
All right. I'll give you a couple things real quick. Fort Wayne Comedy Club in Fort Wayne, Indiana. November
Christmas
14th and 15th. November 8th, I'll be at your club, Jeffrey Paul. Laughing Stocks Comedy Club in Granville, PA, November 8th. That's a Saturday. And Hanover, Pennsylvania, Church of Satire, November 21 and 22. All my dates on my social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouPorn, wherever.
When you go to Church of Satire, you are right by Gettysburg. Go to the battlefield and go to Devil's Den.
Okay.
I don't know if you're a Civil War guy, but I'm telling you, you can feel the ghosts there. And also, you go to the spot. Like when you go to the town of Gettysburg, you can. When you go to the town of Gettysburg, right across the street is where Lincoln made the famous Gettysburg Address. And you can look out. There's that little spot where he did the speech, and you can look out over it, and you're like, it takes you back in time. It's a great spot. You'll have a great time when you're there.
I'm going to play Kiss Forever while I'm out there.
Yeah, just don't play I Was Made for Loving You. Okay? So almost ruined their career. All right, Sean Morton. We will be back next week with another great edition here of
and hopefully nobody dies. We have to do another fucking tribute show for a while. I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
what we're doing is an ELO tribute show. We'll get Chris McCoy back on. All right, guys. We will catch you next time. John Jamieson, thank you so much for Who's Your Band. We'll catch you next week, folks. Goodbye.